Hello, everybody. All right, so apparently my co-host for the evening is running a little late or something to that effect because he did say that he did kind of acknowledge that he got the message earlier, but he's nowhere to be found. So I'm just waiting for him. Of course, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people um, to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if um, anyways, oh, there he is. Hey, RJ, when I came back from sending you a message to let you know the show was on, I saw you were on, so it just took me a sec to get the cursor over to click you on.
Yeah, it took a while for me to took a while for my screen to refresh to get my link notice in. So I'm like, come on, cycle through. But yeah, I'm here. I'm on the road. I'm connected in and ready to do this.
Oh, okay. So you're on the you're not at home. You're on the road. Where if you don't mind me asking, where are you like are you coming to us from for a convention or something like that or?
Nope. Just personal trip.
All right. And I get
sir, need a haircut last week.
Huh?
You need a haircut and you need it last week, dude.
Well, I'm waiting till it warms up a little bit more. I'm waiting till it warms up. Like I probably will like next month, at the earliest next month, just because remember we're still in the middle of winter here, and even though this is California, you can still get pretty cold. But yeah, I know. But you may have noticed I did shave. I did shave my beard off.
I kind of did. Yeah. Took it down some.
All right. Well, so how's your weekend? How's your week go? How's your week go?
It went fairly well. I'm doing a lot of driving, and be doing some more next week. Next week is a Super Bowl weekend, so I'll be on the road to go to a Super Bowl party. Then Valentine's Day is the weekend after that, so I'll be driving for that. I get around.
Yeah. Okay, and just a reminder to everybody, if you guys can like and share the stream, but to see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. Also, what?
I'm telling everybody what the subscribe button is. The subscribe button. It's right down there. Just click it.
Yeah. All right. Also, if anything we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Now, of course, before we do get into the main attraction of the show, as it were, of course, as you all know, my co-host tonight is RJ Carter from Critical Blast, and I'm going to give him the floor for a moment to let him do any, to basically introduce himself, which I'm sure most people who are watching probably know who he is since he's been on here a few times before. But give him that opportunity anyways. Promote anything he wants. Share any links. I know he's quite a busy man, and he's been gracious enough to join me in this venture down comic history lane. So I wanted to be just as gracious and give him a chance to promote anything he's doing. To see, to at least give him a chance to open up things for you guys. So with that being said, RJ, take it away.
Well, I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, Myopic Proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing. And we've got stuff going on. It's a new year. We got new projects. Getting a block of new ISBNs for the publishing company this weekend. So we'll be ready to hit the ground running with new titles. And I tell you what, it's getting to the point where these creator royalties are actually becoming real money. So writing checks. Since the last time we talked, the publishing business and the logistics business have become LLCs. So they are their own separate legal entities now. We are officially businesses.
All right. Well, I know there's been I know over the past few weeks there's been quite a bit of a shakeup because one of the stories I more recently covered in the last month was Diamond Distribution filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I'm sure you heard about that.
Which means a lot of independent publishers are not going to get paid.
So, would you like to share any links? As I said, promote anything you're doing.
If you hit criticalblast.com, you'll find the link for everything we do. If you're on social media and you're on either X or Facebook or Instagram of all places, not that I'll ever see it, but we are Critical Blast on all social media platforms. We've got it covered. So 2 words, right. Critical Blast. Use them both. You'll find us.
All right. Anything more you'd like to add before we move on?
Let's read comics.
All right. So what I'm going to do tonight, of course, I'm going to let you, of course, narrate as always. I'm going to also give you, I'm going to have you doing the main character for the first and third features, Power Nelson and Black Owl. We'll kind of alternate. I'm going to start you out, let you do Power Nelson, then I'll do like Jupiter, then you can do Black. We'll like alternate main characters, and then we'll figure out.
I'll get to do Batman.
Huh?
I'll get to do Batman because that's who Black Owl is. Come on.
All right. So, so with that, I'm just, and there's normally stuff, of course, I'd be talking to you about before the show if you get here early, but whatever.
This is easy. This is easy stuff.
All right. But anyways, with that, as you said, let's get started. So let me pull up the material here. As I said, we'll figure out the other characters as we go along as soon as I find it. And of course, as always, I'll have you do the narration as well. There it is.
Since I don't have my larger monitor when I travel, I just got the laptop. I'm going to full screen this, which means I will not see any chat. So sorry, chat. I love that cover.
Yeah. You want to read that off for everybody?
Oh, Prize Comics. Big colored picture contest. Black Owl, Jupiter, Buck Brady, Storm Curtis, and others. That's a cool dynamic pose, too. That punch. Enter the big colored picture contest in this issue of Prize Comics. $25 first prize. That was real money back then. $15 second prize, $10 third prize, many other valuable prizes. See pages 32 and 33 of this issue every month in Prize Comics. You will find Power Nelson, Future Man, Jupiter, the Master Magician, Buck Brady of the FBI, Jackson of the Jungle, Storm Curtis of the Coast Guards, Dr. Decker, the Maker of Monsters, Ted O'Neill, the Flying Fool. Get the Prize Comics habit. Read it every month. Do not miss any of these exciting stories.
Now that even though we're not covering that particular feature, that's got to be a very interesting feature in its own right. The Flying Fool, right, RJ?
Oh yeah.
All right. So now we're into our first feature here. We're gonna read through Power Nelson, the Future Man. Go for it.
It is the year 1982. And civilization has been conquered.
Oh, you didn't want to read. You didn't want to read the title there.
You already did. You said Power Nelson, the Future Man, bro. It was right there. You did it.
All right. I meant for you to read it, but I read it as well. So, but anyways,
we'll just put on movie narrator voice. It is the year 1982, and civilization has been conquered by a Mongol horde. The cruel emperor Sang-1 rules the world from New York. Power Nelson, given marvelous strength by a scientific experiment, fights single-handed to free civilization.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about this particular feature is just knowing how just getting to see what the writer thought about 40 years or so into the future was going to be like, and just seeing what their perspective, what their perception of what 40 years into the future was from that, here in, April 1940 when this went on, newsstands, as compared to those of us who lived in 1982, what we knew, what came out to be the reality of the situation.
Sometimes they got close, sometimes they missed it by a mile.
Yeah. But anyways,
A world crisis develops.
my savings are gone.
Mine too. Unemployment spreads. Okay, they're really, really close now, actually.
Jobs!
We want work. The emperor makes a speech.
My friends, the crisis is temporary. Prosperity is just around the corner. Now, everybody cheer or else.
Hooray for the emperor.
Hooray. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. That actually, tail looks more like a woman. Hooray.
Howard Nelson speeds to the hall. I think I'll make a speech too. But he is stopped at the gate.
You can't enter without a special pass.
Then I'll use my own methods. Going for my Bud Collyer voice there.
Yeah.
Power makes a mighty spring, high over the hall. He crashes through the roof of the building, right into the hall.
Look out!
What the? He catches a rope to break his fall and lands safely on the platform.
You can't do this. Help!
The emperor is terrified.
Soldiers, quick, protect me. Throw him out.
The Mongol soldiers attack Power.
At him, men. He'll die for this.
You asked for it. Well, that's that. Now I'll make another speech.
Yes. What shall I say?
Can't you guess? Tell them what they want to hear.
My friends, there will be work for all. I will start a plan to make jobs.
This time, the cheers are spontaneous.
Hooray!
Hooray for jobs!
Hooray! 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 I think I've got an echo on here.
Sounds like.
Uh,
And you'd better keep that promise.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in a nearby observatory, scientists make a discovery.
I see some tiny specks leaving the planet Uranus. They must be a fleet of huge spaceships approaching the Earth.
Let's hope they are friendly. The spaceship fleet from Uranus arrives over the city. One ship makes a landing.
And just a friendly reminder to everybody, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, just doing something here. Hopefully, get the view count up a little bit there. Is your lady friend listening to us tonight?
Oh, yes.
All right.
One ship makes a landing, and a strange figure emerges.
I am Lord, dictator of Uranus. Take me to your ruler.
He's the dictator of Uranus. Oh my
Well,
God.
I use the term
Right yourself.
Uranus, but yeah, that it would
I
probably be
know.
more comical, more last. We did use the other pronunciation.
Lure is taken to the palace.
Dictator, dictator Blore of the planet Uranus to see his imperial majesty. Cheap stuff, this palace. The two rulers confirm. I am
Yes,
pleased. I am pleased to greet you. How did you learn English? On Uranus, we speak and know all languages of the universe.
better school systems. Let's migrate, guys.
And what do you seek here? I'll be blunt. I have a labor shortage. I need thousands of men. I have 10 tons of gold for you. Good. I have unemployment. What wages do you pay? Wages? Bah!
Oh, slave trader.
I think I understand. You shall have the men when I get the gold, but a little deception is necessary.
Soon, advertisements appear in the papers.
You want to read that part to us?
Men wanted for jobs on planet Uranus. Good pay, free meals, no experience necessary. Apply spaceships.
Hmm.
And jobless men swarmed the spaceships.
I sure need a good job.
I haven't worked for a year. The spaceship fleet leaves the Earth and speeds through space to land on Uranus.
Now, can you imagine that for a moment? You know, if we decided to take the more pun aspect of
I'm
of
taking
that,
it. I'm taking it every chance I get
you
because
know,
it gets a laugh.
can you imagine trying to land on Uranus?
Hey, I was laughing the minute they said tiny specks had left Uranus. I'm like, somebody farted.
Hmm. Hurry up! Get out! You're on Uranus now. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with you. You went
You
with it.
gotta, you gotta. It's the easy, low-hanging fruit. When do we eat?
When's payday? You eat once a day. There is no payday. You'll just work and like it.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, I wonder if that job proposition was on the level. I'll get in my spaceship and investigate. A little late now, Power. Soon, Power is rocketing through outer space. There's Uranus just ahead. I'll land secretly. Strange place, Uranus. I think I see a factory over there.
You know, it's kind of funny too. Is again, people's,
It's a fudge factory.
the obvious, lack of scientific knowledge, you know, for the general populace, thinking that you could actually, that humans could actually survive on Uranus, when we know that Uranus, I don't think, has a breathable atmosphere. I mean, nowadays we know that, but
it was the closest planets we had. A busy Uranians munitions factory. Inside the factory,
speed up production.
Power speeds to the factory. The men might be working there. I'll see how they're treated. He looks in the window. There they are. Why, they're chained to their machines. It's forced labor. He smashes through the wall, right into the factory. This slavery must stop.
I can't believe my eyes.
He snaps the chains as if they were string.
I'm free! I'm free!
Meanwhile, the foreman runs to the siren.
I must summon help.
And sounds it. That's a weird siren. Okay.
Well, I was just reading it the way they were doing
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Their onomatopoeia was a bit off.
Yeah.
On a lofty crag is Dictator Bloor's retreat. Within the retreat,
That's the siren. Its signal revolt in factory B. Oh, it's signal 17. Revolt in factory B. Send the Amazon regiment to factory B. Want to do the other guy there?
Amazon regiment to factory B. Yes, sir. This is how many science fiction stories have we seen already like this, Mike, where the men are brutish, monster-looking guys, and the women are all busty, sexy Amazon women in armor? How do they? Those poor women, they have no choice.
You have to almost ask, as I sometimes have asked before with some of the content here, who are they writing this for?
Themselves. They're writing it for themselves.
Maybe, or well, because typically, most people think, well, comics are written for kids, right? But is this a story that you really think is written for kids?
Hey, when there's Amazon women on Uranus, I'll take the story. The Amazon regiment of fighting women. The Amazons approach the factory.
There's an army coming. They'll kill us.
Don't worry. I know what to do. Power charges full tilt at the regiment, but suddenly comes to a dead stop. What? Why, they're women. I can't fight women. Offering no resistance, Power is surrounded. That's a good man. I surrender. I don't want to hurt anybody.
You're under arrest.
He is bound with heavy ropes.
Tie him tight, girls. Don't let him get away.
And taken to Bloor.
Oh, you're a strong man, eh? But you can't take it.
I can't fight women, but Power breaks his bonds. I can fight you.
Lord! Sorry.
Bloor presses a button on his desk. And two huge robots appear. Power whirls to face them. Can't do your own fighting, eh? Pow, biff, bam, smash. The other robot smashes and shatters its steel hand. Back, come back down, come back down. Back, scroll, you missed some stuff. You went past things. Stop. More junk for the junk man.
Oh, and I thought you were meaning keep up with the adventures of Power.
Oh, no. We missed dialogue there we had to get.
Huh.
Now, you have an announcement to make.
Yeah, yes. I know. The men from Earth are to be returned home with full pay. These are Blor's orders.
The space fleet leaves Uranus and carries the men back to Earth.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what that would be like. Space fleet leaving Uranus.
They couldn't pick any other planet. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was meaning it in a more adult manner, if you get what
I
I
know
mean.
you were. I know.
Uh, Gee, it's great to get home.
With all that cash, too. Power 2 returns. I'll never stop fighting for civilization. Follow a fight of Power Nelson, the Future Man, in each issue of Prize Comics.
All right. So before we get on to the before we scroll down to the next feature, which I believe is Jupiter, Master Magician. Gonna find the cursor here. So I can click over here real quick. Overall impressions of the story of this story, RJ.
I liked it. I have to wonder about his fashion choice there, why the spikes are sticking up around his neck. That seems like if you sneeze, you're going to stab yourself in the chin. But, it's the future fashion. So,
Yeah, and what we have to think too, it's what these creators in 1940s thought the future fashion was going to be.
oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to cosplay that.
Yeah. Yeah, so of course the running gag here is Uranus.
Yeah.
And we just both I eventually just kind of okay, I'm just going with it.
Yep. I corrupted you into it. I know. Not that Uranus is any better.
Yeah. But anyways, so you say you like the story overall.
Oh yeah, it was a good one. You got to the point. It was slave labor. He stops it. Good man.
All right. So as I said, the next feature we're going to look at is going to be, I believe it will be Jupiter, the Master Magician. Of course, you can do the as soon as we get there, you can do the narration. I'll do Jupiter, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go.
All right.
There we go.
Jupiter, Master Magician, by Greg H. Champion. Jupiter, the Master Magician from the planet Jupiter, has descended to Earth in order to combat evil. Racco, his arch-enemy, has apparently been exterminated by Jupiter.
Things have been pretty dull since Jupiter put an end to Racco's mischief. Oh, actually, I'll let you do that guy because I think that's his sidekick.
Is that his sidekick? I can't remember if it was his sidekick or his alter ego. Okay. Things have been pretty dull since Jupiter put an end to Racco's mischief. Gosh, it's getting dark. Looks like rain. A strange type of cloud formation. Looks more like huge black balls than fleecy clouds. I've seen that panel before. That panel has made the Dirty Comics list.
This is a panel before, I guess.
No. I've seen that panel about the huge black balls before.
Oh.
That's been copied and pasted in other forums. Wow, it's hailing boulders. Gee, that girl's been hit. I must take her to a safe place. Johnson is knocked out. Johnson is knocked out by a huge boulder. He and the girl are hurled to the ground. Oof. Hours later, Johnson lies in hospital bed musing. Strange type of hail. I wonder what Jupiter thinks of it. Quick as lightning, Jupiter appears before Jim.
How does your head feel, Jim?
Not so good. Say, I think this storm must have been a tremor from another planet. Whoa, wait, wow, okay, sure, earthquake on the planet. Go.
Scientists have looked into that theory. There is nothing to it.
Well, what's your opinion, Jupiter?
Racco is still alive. I have been receiving his vibrations again.
Then Racco must be causing it. How did he ever get away from the volcanic island?
Jim, that man's ability for getting out of scrapes is uncanny.
Oh, if only I could get out of bed.
Simple. Get up, Jim. Okpato! You are well.
Having healed Jim's head wound, Jupiter and Johnson leave the hospital.
Now we shall see where Racco's new headquarters are. This time I shall conquer the world.
The hideous face of the madman faces, and a panoramic scene flashes onto Jupiter's magical crystal. Where's his new hideout?
The mad fiend has established himself at the South Pole.
Yes, because all those hills of green grass look exactly like Antarctica to me. Gosh, how will we get there?
With a superplane, of course. Zutango!
With a what plane, mind you? Okay. At Jupiter's magic command, the superplane appears. Whew! Some speed, Jupiter.
If we didn't have this superplane, your body would be crushed by the rare atmosphere.
Sounds scientific to me. As the ship hurtles through space, they run into an atmospheric storm. There goes another of Racco's boulder storms.
Whew. We just missed a huge rock. We must slacken our speed. We're nearing the pole. Now, what by the context there? What do you think the word slacken means right there?
He means slow it down, but it's a weird way of saying it.
No, it's give it some slack, right?
Yeah. What a bleak-looking place.
Here we are, Jim.
Again, in shorts, no thermal wear, on green grass, and it's the South Pole. Okay. Suddenly, the ground splits open. Jupiter and Johnson fall into the yawning ice below.
Yawning ice?
Yeah,
it must be green ice, I guess, huh?
It's tired ice, yeah. Jupiter, the ground is closing over us. We'll never escape.
Zunked.
It's easy for him to say.
Yeah.
Jupiter's magical word stands in good stead. Both men are shot instantly out of danger. They find themselves on a high promontory glacier. I will say that they are using the more $5 words in this. They're making kids go to their dictionary.
Now we'll find Racco. Tungo!
You got to scroll up some because it's down. Jupiter's magic crystal pops into his hands.
Racco is under the glacier.
While Jupiter gazes intently into his crystal, Fin Fang Foom attacks. The ice monster carries off the unconscious reporter.
You're Jupiter meddling with my plans again, huh? I'll teach you. Yeah, I found that in a few of these stories, right? The hero is paired up with a reporter as a sidekick. You may have noticed that too.
Always a reporter.
Well, you shall freeze into a statue, a constant reminder to other meddlers, Johnson.
Meanwhile, Jupiter gestures, causing a great electrical discharge, killing the monster. Oh, a little late now. Jupiter then creates a drill by white magic. Let's get racist now with our magic. Okay, come on.
Now bore a tunnel through the ice to Racco's stronghold. Maxrona!
Well, not only is it white magic, but he summons an Irish drill. Okay, got it. The shaft completed, Jupiter enters.
Now to take care of Racco and find Jim.
Hurtling through like a bullet, Jupiter causes an avalanche of ice. He is struck by a great piece of jagged ice. Stunned by the blow, Jupiter collapses in the choked tunnel. In the meantime, Racco muses.
Now I'll send another boulder storm.
Glancing into his televisor.
Why, it's Jupiter. He seems to be dazed. Now's my chance.
Racco seizes Jupiter in his comatose condition and throws him into the freezing machine with Jim.
Ha ha! What could be sweeter? A trifle more power, and they'll be done for.
Jupiter recovers and finds Johnson dying.
The murdering fiend.
Jupiter gestures, and a heat ray begins to thaw Johnson's purple frozen body.
Well, yeah, that does kind of look purplish a little bit. He'll pull through now.
After rescuing Jim Johnson, Jupiter sets to work with fury. He completely wrecks Racco's infernal ice-walled laboratory. Just then, ice monsters attack, as they tend to do because they live at the South Pole.
Cramundo! Become harmless rabbits.
Those are some big rabbits.
No, you don't, Racco. Zong! My ray, useless. Jupiter is too much for me. Fizba! Racco, meet the same fate you wished on us. Become an ice statue forever. Sink, O glacier, and seal evil Racco's tomb forever.
Gosh, I'm glad to know Racco is really dead, Jupiter. He gave me the willies.
Are you not happy for any other reason, Jim? You'll be seeing your Joan again.
Follow the amazing adventures of Jupiter in Prize Comics.
All right, and of course, another friendly reminder to everybody. If you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. And hello, Rick Piper from Cross Comics is with us.
Rick, good to see you, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So before we head on to the next story, RJ, overall impressions of this story.
Well, the stories that they write in the Golden Age for magicians are pretty much fantastic situation, magic word. Fantastic situation, magic word. Fantastic situation, magic word. So they can just say, "We got 6 pages. Go on. Throw in an ice monster." Okay, can do.
What did you think when I had to sit there and say those magic words?
Well, the ones that were like, that had vowels in them were easier to say. But man, when you put an X and a Z together, I'm like, you're just writing letters down now, guys. Come on, at least with Zatara, DC, no one else could copy this because DC had it. But with Zatara, it was like a magical code. You're like, ooh, what did he actually say? Oh, we can decode this. We can decipher it and know what his magic is.
Well, Zatara would usually quote his spells backwards.
Yeah, but you could figure that out. So,
yeah. So overall, your overall impression was kind of
Jupiter's a weak story. Yeah, the magic users are weak stories. They weren't great back in the Golden
All right, I guess we'll move on to the next story then.
Even the ending there is like, hey, thanks for saving my life. Are you sure you're not happy for another reason? You're going to go see your girlfriend. Like, oh, yeah, but I'm alive to do it, so I'm happy.
Oh, and here's the picture kind of we're talking about here.
Absolutely free to all. Well, where's the picture we're drawing? Here's your big chance to be an artist. Color the picture below. The best ones win. You know what happened? Somebody colored that picture below. That's actual crayon coloring on that picture, and they didn't do a bad job.
And we jump right into the Black Owl here. So, Court, I'm going to let you do the narration for this story and the main character, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go along.
All right. The Black Owl by Pete and the Bird. Douglas Danville, playboy, and Terry Dane, lovely young private detective, see a big league game at the American Stadium. Do you good to forget about crooks and murders and that phony phantom, the Black Owl.
You're just jealous. Ooh, look, a homer.
At that very moment, in a deserted storeroom under the stadium,
their fuses connect with dynamite. Charges scattered among the 5,000 people in the stadium.
Hurry up and light them. We got to report to the boss.
Oh, wait, that's right. I was the guy in the purple. You got.
I think you're right. I was the guy in purple. Okay. Come on, legs. In a few minutes, this baseball bowl will be blown to the sun.
That'll teach folks not to cross Smoke LaRue. Smoke LaRue.
I think it's LaRock. Q.
LaRock. Oh, then Q. Okay, yes, Smoke LaRock.
Weird name. Nowadays when you smoke LaRock,
yeah,
a little bit.
Well, I think the way it's spelled, you get the impression that the dude is probably of French origin.
Oh yeah. Unaware of the horrible death about to blast from beneath them, Terry and Doug talk and laugh.
The Black Owl wouldn't waste an afternoon like this. There's so many people in trouble.
Go on. I bet he's right here in the stadium.
And you picked up quickly that that was a Black Owl in disguise.
Oh, of course. The next instant, the first dynamite charge explodes.
Good heavens, Doug. What?
An explosion. Something terrible is. One after another, 10 roaring blasts completely wrecked the $1 million stadium. Terry and Doug, dazed and shaken, narrowly escape with their lives.
Thank goodness you're all right, Doug. What was that? An earthquake?
We'll soon find out. There must be thousands of dead and injured. They extricate a severely injured man. Drag him out, Terry. Hurry. Can't hold this thing much longer.
Here he comes.
While Doug aids the dying man, Terry searches his belongings for his identity. He's failing fast, Terry. I'm afraid.
This man's Tom Miller, owner of the stadium. Listen, he's trying to whisper something.
With his last breath, the owner of the wrecked stadium gives out a cryptic message. Should have paid them. Never thought they'd really blow up the place. New racket. Oh. Doug and Terry leave the ruins.
Miller said the stadium was destroyed purposely. I'm going to investigate this.
He might have been delirious. Anyway, it's too big a job for you to mix in, Terry. Unknown to Terry, the very man she seeks is right beside her. Doug Danville, playboy, and the Black Owl, mystery man, are one and the same.
I'm no playboy, Doug. It's my job to run down plots like this. If I could only get in touch with a Black Owl, he'd help me solve this quickly.
Phooey on the Black Owl.
In this particular case, we probably should have read the dialogue before the narration. This is probably one of those rare occasions where we probably.
Yep. I agree. They placed it wrong. Not our fault. It's the writer's fault. That same night, at the hideaway of Smoke LaRock, master brain of the gang of criminals.
After that good job we did today on the American Stadium, we'll have no trouble forcing protection dough from every stadium and theater owner in this country.
You're some guy, Smoke. We'll make millions. While LaRock and his gang gloat over their success, Terry pays a visit to the office of the late Tom Miller.
Not much in these files. I'd better get going. Would look bad for me to be caught here.
As Terry starts to leave.
What are you doing here?
Pick him up, sister. Smoke was right in figuring someone would be snooping around here tonight.
Well, thanks, Roggen.
Across from the office building, Doug Danville, alias the Black Owl, watches the exit impatiently.
It's a good thing I decided to trail Terry tonight. She's been in there too long. Something's wrong.
Climbing to the roof of an adjacent building, the Black Owl zooms through space toward the window of Miller's office.
That's a lot of space below me.
I think you were the guy in the green. I was the guy.
Look out, Joey! The Black Owl!
Help! Help!
Over the top.
I'll fix that freak.
No, don't kill him.
The Black Owl leaps up, swings on a fixture, grabs the crook holding Terry.
Beat it, honey. I'll take care of these lugs.
I'll get the police and come back.
Ah, my neck! Let go!
You want me to let you go? There you are.
Oof. I can only
If
get
I
this gat in
can
time.
get this gat in time.
I can't get to you before you pull that trigger, but...
This curtain's for you, Black Owl.
Black Owl slings the fan at the thug.
Hey, what the...
There's more than one way to kill a rat.
The heavy fan smashes the remaining thug, and Black Owl leaves the office.
Better hurry. Might be more of these yeggs downstairs. Terry might have run into a trap.
At the third floor, Black Owl leaps over the banister.
Stairs take too long.
More of LaRock's men outside grab Terry. Her screams attract the police.
Just as I thought.
Help!
Shut that game up.
What's going on here?
It's the Black Owl. Grab him, and they'll make us sergeants.
Head for the hideaway.
Missed.
The police turn their full attention to capturing the elusive Black Owl.
They're going to trap me if I don't watch out.
As the cops converge on the pole, the Black Owl leaps to the roof of the police car, and then...
I'd better borrow this metal pony.
Somebody stop that guy.
With the borrowed motorcycle, Black Owl nears the car where Terry is a prisoner.
Got to get Terry out of that car.
He makes a daring transfer.
I'll get a job in the movies after this.
Kill that maniac.
Stop this buggy, or I'll twist your head off.
Go to blazes.
As the driver and Black Owl battle, the car gets out of control.
Hey, we're going to crash.
I think you already have. While all this is going on, LaRock visits the home of Murray Yance, owner of Edison Square Garden, where a big bout is scheduled for that night.
Edison Square Garden. I wonder if that's Prize Universe's equivalent to Madison Square Garden, maybe.
Oh, I think so. I think in American Stadium was probably a Yankee Stadium.
Hmm. Deliver that money within an hour, or the garden will be blown up tonight.
25,000? You're trying to scare me. Get out before I call the police. Back at the wreck.
I think you're the guy in the green.
Yeah. Good thing we're near the hideaway. Let's take these guys to the Rock. An hour later finds Terry and the Black Owl prisoners of the Rock.
Vance didn't come across. Come on, gang. We'll blast that prize ring right out of the city.
These two are tied tight, boss. Maybe this will give me a chance to escape. As soon as the gang leaves, Black Owl works his way to the end of a stairway and... Ouch. This is going to be a painful way to break loose. Hurriedly, he frees Terry.
Please, tell me who you really are. I want to work with you more than anything in the world.
Someday, perhaps. Right now, I want to get you the police. Bring them to Edison Square Garden.
I wonder what would happen if she, she's not. It's one of those, as we talked. I don't know if you were here the last time or not, but I know we talked about this before. Where it's another case, much like in the case of Superman, where she's in love with the superhero but hates the alter ego.
Oh,
I wonder how she's going to react when she finds out it's the guy she's been didn't think much of before.
They may never gotten together. 20 minutes later, in the subcellar of Edison Square Garden.
I'm taking care of this job personally. Vance can't pull that stuff on Smoke LaRock.
Shouldn't lock doors.
Hey!
Grab him! Swinging down the lane.
That guy won't get me.
The Black Owl chases the master criminal through the cellar.
Wow, he's heading right up into the fight.
I'll go upstairs and get lost in the crowd.
The chase bursts right up through the ring during the main bout, while thousands watch. It is a prize fight with Soikus. Sorry to grab your act, boys. High above the yowling crowd, the chase continues until... There you go, right down. With the bomber in the hands of Terry and the police, Black Owl fades into the night. Terry will call me tomorrow to tell me what an exciting night she had. If she only knew.
Yeah, you can't beat that. You can't beat that guy. Darn it, he's gone again.
Don't miss a single hair-raising adventure of the Black Owl. Next month in Prize Comics, I'm sure they meant to say.
All right, so let's see. Well, this is Batman and Lois, love interested of Superman and Lois Lane. Yeah.
Actually, this is Batman and Julie Madison.
Yeah. And RJ, since you're as much of a DC expert as I am, maybe even more, would you like to care to explain to those who may not know who Julie Madison is?
Well, Julie Madison was Bruce Wayne's fiance. Then Vicky Vale came along. She was the reporter, to tell the truth. Neither of them tried to, as far as I know, they weren't as much into finding out the secret identity as much as Lois Lane was with Superman. The only one that was Silver St. Cloud, and she actually did figure out the identity and never told him.
And why was Julie, even though she wasn't around long, why was Julie Madison significant?
Well, she was his fiance, and then he never got married.
Yeah, fiance, first love interest.
Right.
She was an actress, And she was also part of a main plot point for the introduction of who?
Julie Madison? I have no idea.
Clayface.
Oh.
Basil Carlo.
Because she was an actress. Yeah. Okay.
She was one of the actresses who was involved in the play that Basil Carlo, the Clayface. You didn't remember that?
It was a long before my time, Mike. I didn't read that one.
I guess you never read that story before. I've read it before. I've looked into that. So I knew that, but yeah. But I figured if you knew about Julie Madison, you would have known about that because she was kind of part of she was a major part of that story in that she was one of the actresses involved in in that.
But she just sort of faded away. They're like, yeah, no, he's Playboy.
Yeah.
Especially when Robin came along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, we're coming up in an hour here. We're about halfway through, so that's at least good. So all right. So before, of course, we do move on to. Actually, no, we got through 3 of the stories.
We did.
Yeah. So 3 of the 4 stories. So we just have the one more Storm Curtis. But before we do get to the last story, overall impressions, RJ.
Of Black Owl is always a winner. Good stories from him, and I like that you knew where the places were, but they were like slightly altered. So, like, yeah, I know where Edison Square Garden is. I know where American Stadium is.
So, well, you could almost argue that they were probably in an analog or a comparative site of New York City they were in Price Comics version of New York City. Would you
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So with that, now we'll move on to the final story that we will get into tonight.
By the way, when he's blowing up the American Stadium, it carried a lot of echoes of when Bane blew up the football stadium in the Dark Knight Return. The Batman movie, the one that nobody talks about.
Isn't that Batman and Robin?
No. Bane blew up the stadium in the last Kevin Nolan film.
Oh, okay.
Not Kevin Nolan. Kevin Nolan's the artist. Yeah, the one after the Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises.
Even much later than I thought it was. I thought you were talking about like the Batman movies where they concluded with like the series of Batman movies. I thought you were talking about the ones where Jim Carrey played the Riddler.
Yeah, I remember that one. And there was a Bane in that series too. He was henchman for Poison Ivy. But
all right, so here's Storm Curtis. So I'll let you. I'll of course have you do the narration for this one. I'll do Storm Curtis, and we'll figure out the rest along the way.
Yeah, we kind of do that almost intuitively now, don't we? Storm Curtis of the U.S. Coast Guard by Richard Norman. A pleasant evening at Linda Fox's home is drawing to a close. Yeah, that's the kid.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Storm, there's a strange machine that brings a dead man back to life.
Brother Jackie and his comic magazines. Warn Jackie not to believe all he reads in those books, or he'll be jumping off the roof trying to fly. Well, good night, Linda. Good night, Storm.
A steamer sets out to sea with a strange cargo and a strange assembly of people. Now that we are safe at sea, Captain Blake, I'll show you my invention. There she is, just fits into the room. My life ray machine that will revive a dead man. Oh, hey, what a setup. It is going to the battlefield, there to bring to life the dead soldiers, to fight again.
So I guess this particular scientist is trying to practice the art of necromancy, huh?
Oh, yeah. Elsewhere on the ship.
Now is the time, Carl. Tell the boys to strike.
spies of an enemy nation go to work to secure the life machine. 2 passengers have kept in seclusion until now, but...
What's the row?
Come in here, Jeff.
Bang!
A bullet rips into Jeff. Oh, is that not his real name? They put quotes around it.
He's dead. Good heavens. What can I do now? The code message.
In the wheelhouse,
This is my ship, boy.
the ship is without a pilot. It bears down on dim lights.
Ahoy there! Stop your engines.
Directly in the freighter's path is a Storm Curtis Coast Guard cutter.
We're gonna crash.
Crash. He was right.
The pilot regains control of the ship and stops it.
Well, it's a little too late. You crashed.
We hit something. Curse those rats.
Storm and his men take to the lifeboats. The battle still rages on the ship. Storm's men board the freighter.
I hope you have plenty of guns. Some bums are trying to take my ship.
Now,
Better luck next time. Here we go.
with the Coast Guard aboard, the fight takes on a different aspect.
It's all over.
You win, sailor.
All right, gents, your game's up. Now, tell us what it's all about.
I think I can offer a solution.
Professor Weeks explains about his life ray machine.
Evidently, these thugs plan to take over the ship and deliver the machine to an enemy nation.
Let's take a look at that contraption.
The friend of Jeff, the dead man, overhears the conversation.
A machine to bring life to a dead man. Seems highly fantastic, but if Jeff could be revived, if only for a minute.
He knows the secret code.
I must see you alone the second. I am a Secret Service agent. Here are my papers. My coworker has accidentally been killed. We have to give Captain Blake a code message at exactly 3 a.m. But I only know half of it. My dead friend has the other half locked in his dead brain. It may mean disaster if Captain Blake doesn't get that message. With Weeks' machine, we may revive my friend. Come on.
Storm induces Professor Weeks to bring the secret agent to life.
He's alive. Quick, Jeff. It's okay. Give me your half of the code. Here you are, Captain. And half of the code and mine with your code book 73R. You'll be able to decipher the entire message.
Captain Blake quickly deciphers the code.
Good grief! Not a moment too soon. If we hadn't received this, we would have fallen into a mine trap.
Okay, there is no reason to code "look out for the mines." Okay, that's a statement you just flat out say, "Mines, stop." It's not something that the enemy you're keeping secret from the enemy. Anyway,
but outside the cabin is the leader of the spies, uncaptured.
Well, unless you're trying to make sure that they don't get the message in the first place, but keep the spies from stopping you from delivering said message.
The shot wrecks the machine.
One man left to deal with. I'm after him. I want to get this guy alive if possible.
The chase leads to the engine room.
Don't touch him, Stokers. I want him.
Storm leaps down on him. A terrific blow, and the thug reels back toward the furnace. Well, so much for getting him alive.
Thanks to you, Curtis. We cleaned up that mob and averted disaster. It's good to know there are men like you protecting us. That's our job, sir.
Follow Storm Curtis every month in Prize Comics.
All right. So overall impressions, RJ?
Well, Storm Curtis is meant to be more of a realistic adventure story, but we throw Dr. Frankenstein in here, as well as the foreshadowing from the kids' comic book. Oh, don't believe the things you read in comics. Oh, by the way, we've got one on the ship. It does too. That's what you call a Deus ex machina.
Deus ex machina.
The god from the machine.
For those who may not know what that is, would you like to explain it to everybody?
Well, that is the god from the machine, and that was basically in the olden days of doing plays. The Greeks would literally set up their heroes into unfixable situations, and then it would be fixed by the gods, who would be lowered down. These actors would be lowered down on a platform as they came out of heaven to say, okay, you all screwed this up. We're going to fix it. This is right. This is right. This is right. This is right. And the gods would arrange everything so everybody was fixed. And they were the gods from the machine. So anytime that you have written your characters into an untenable situation and you just miraculously fix it, like having a life ray machine suddenly on the ship, is known as a Deus ex machina.
Wow, we're just past the hour mark, and we got through all the stories already.
They were quick. They were action packed.
Yeah. Well, I know that Power Nelson was the longest of them. I think they were like 36 pages altogether. So okay, so now we've gone through each story individually. Now of course, time to ask the questions in regards to the stories as a whole, the selection here. So of the 4 stories that we read tonight, which one would you say is the one you liked the most?
Oh, it's going to be a toss-up between Power Nelson and the Black Owl. I think probably the Black Owl, because it was a more grounded story. Yeah, people they do extort money, protection money, and they went big. They didn't just burn down a corner deli. They blew up the stadium, and they actually blew it up. They went through with their plan. So you knew that the guys were serious, and they were going to blow up Edison Square Garden. But Black Owl got in there and stopped them. It would have been much more loss of life. So it was a more grounded, more realistic mystery man kind of story, and the hero saved the day.
All right. And with that being said, of course, now with the 3 remaining stories, which one would you say is the one you liked the least?
Oh, the least gotta be Jupiter the Magician. I mean, come on. It's just like, again, these magician stories are just, oh, the guy that we thought was dead 5 times before, still not dead apparently, and he's going to throw rocks at us. That was his thing. I'm going to throw rocks at you.
Yeah, but you know what's kind of funny about that though too. That is a common trope throughout a lot of like superhero comics, where you get, whether it's a hero or a villain, caught in these supposedly inescapable death traps, only for them to somehow escape, and we see them sometime later or something like that.
Yeah. They
like,
always do.
Oh, I thought that guy died. Apparently he didn't.
Yeah. How many times did the Joker die in the Golden Age? Well, and they found out, here it's always the same guy returning, so he just never dies. With the Joker, it was the fans really like that story. Well, we can't kill the goose that laid the golden egg. We got to bring the Joker, the golden age, the golden egg. So we've got to bring the character back somehow. And that's, became a common thing in comics where it's like, we killed him off, but now we got to find a way to bring him back. So we got more fanciful and creative and wild different ways of villains surviving their particular demises. I've had to do it with writing I've done. So it's fun to pull off. If you want to bring a character back and they're dead, you're like, well, how do I bring this character back to life? What really happened when we saw the body and everything else? So it can be a writing challenge.
Yeah, so let's see now. So let's see, we're up to hour 11 here. Now, I don't know if you saw the other night. We're gonna move on now. Obviously, I want to try to get this to the very least an hour and a half here. So I want to at least chit chat with you a little bit for a few minutes before we start to wind things down. I don't know if you caught any of my shows this last week, but I guess there was some latest stuff coming out. Some more fallout from Neil Gaiman's situation. Wanted to get your thoughts on all that a little bit more.
I don't really have any thoughts on Neil Gaiman. As to the legalities of what's going on, we're gonna have to watch that play out. Obviously, the activities he's been involved in are kind of hinky, especially considering the surroundings that it happened in and the potential audience that it happened in front of. Not saying anything more about that. As to whether or not everything was consensual or not, that's something that the courts are going to have to decide. If he's got text messages where it sounded like they were, into his game, then that's going to weigh on his side. But if other people can come forward and say, yeah, no, I said no, it's a weird world. We don't know which way that one's going to fall. I think court of public opinion is probably going to fall against him.
Oh, it already has. I mean, there's already,
they've already started.
Dark Horse cut ties with him on his Anansi Boys book. A number of some of the projects he was doing, like with Netflix, they've cut. And I know that Avi Green, who's one of the reporters for Bleeding Fool, he's pretty much already, even though Neil Gaiman has not been convicted in the court of law or anything like that, he's already pretty much the way he's talking. It's like, it's almost as if it's a foregone conclusion that Gaiman's guilty.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then of course in the conversation you and I had off screen, of course, I was introduced to the word Darvo.
Denying reverse victim and oppressor.
Yeah. Let me just go back and see if there's some other things that I can ask you, but just real quick here, because I know there were a few things this past week that came up that were of interest, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. As soon as I can find the blasted cursor here. Let's see some of the, because I know aside from that there were some other, I think, comic related news that came out of interest too. I just can't remember it off the top of my head, so maybe I'll just have to go back here and look it up real quick. Of course, the Neil Gaiman story has been the biggest story covered.
That and Diamond's bankruptcy.
Yeah, those are the two biggest stories. Let's see. There's a story I'll probably end up reporting on tomorrow. There's a story here that came out yesterday. Actually, today, Diamond's last stand, April 1st, could mark into, which I'll probably be covering tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, one of the other things that was announced over the past couple of weeks here, So there's, I guess, a new Captain Planet comic coming out.
It looks interesting.
You've seen it?
I have seen it. It's a they're Aquamanizing Captain Planet. They're giving him the beard to make him look a little bit more masculine, maybe.
Even though it's kind of funny because when I read this, so from mullet to millennial, Captain Planet's 80s eco propaganda gets woke makeover. I mean, based on how we look at things, I mean, it would have already been considered woke to begin with by by how we look at what woke was, because it was a very, as they said, it was a very pro environmental, pro eco,
which was a cool thing to be in the 80s. It was
well, it wasn't the 80s though. Captain Planet came out in the early 90s, like 1991.
Still the same. People were, the environment, Earth Day, I think, was just being invented right then. So it was a thing. It was just getting its start.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because, of course, current host of The View, one of the current hosts of The View, Whoopi Goldberg, actually provided the voice of the spirit of the earth, Gaia, in that show. Among many well-known actors and actresses who lent their voices, including, of course, LeVar Burton, let's see, Ed Asner, so there was that. And then let me also look up one other thing, something on a little bit more positive note, something not quite as serious, because I did cover quite, as I told you in private, I've been covering a lot of cartoon-based stories too that had come out recently. I don't know if you'd heard about, but one of the things I covered the other day was how Joe Barbera almost became a boxer instead of a cartoonist.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and then also one of the other things they kind of covered in on MeTV Tunes here, they were talking about every time, and I don't know if you remember from certain shorts from back in the 30s and 40s when it looked like an audience member would actually get up during the short and you'd see their silhouette on the screen. MeTV Tunes had, I talked about that quite a bit as well.
I do remember those.
Yeah, so, but there, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about here in a little bit more detail, and I talked to you in private about this too. I told you this past Friday it was announced that John Irwin had passed away.
Right, voice actor for He-Man.
Right. So so that's a good thing we could maybe talk about for a few minutes. I know that, of course, you had kind of had an interview late in Lou Scheimer's life. As I had mentioned, of course, on Friday when I covered the John Irwin's passing. Aside, granted, he was his most well known role was, of course, as He-Man and Prince Adam from Master of the Universe. But as that was a small ensemble cast, including Scheimer, his daughter, Alan Oppenheimer, who is still with us, as well as Melanie Britt. They're both still with us, well into their 80s. John Irwin, aside from He-Man and Prince Adam, he was also, of course, Beastman, Web Store. Let's see, just in the He-Man and She-Ra cartoons themselves. Ram Man, he was the Oracle in the episode Teela's Quest. And he did some other work for Filmation too, including he was Reggie Mantle in the Archie cartoons. Provided the voice for Reggie Mantle in the Archie franchise. So with that, any thoughts you want to anything you want to add to that particular conversation about Sean Irwin, anything like that?
I just didn't know him that well. I never interviewed the guy and hadn't watched He-Man in decades. So it totally flew over my radar when he passed.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, and we were talking about this too the other day when you and I were talking in private about this. Supposedly, I guess they're saying that he actually died back on December 20th of last year.
Yeah, he died a month ago.
Yeah, but yet they didn't announce it till like he died of natural causes in a retirement home, I think in Thousand Oaks, and
well, they probably wanted to keep the because there are enough He-Man fans that this would have caused a stir. They probably wanted to keep the ceremony private and not be overwhelmed with a bunch of He-Man fanatics.
Yeah. As I said, though, I know because I looked into this the other. I know Melanie Britt, who provided the voice of She-Ra and Batgirl for Filmation, and Alan Oppenheimer, who was like Man at Arms among other characters, and Battle Cat in He-Man. They're both still alive, and they're still both. Let me see, particularly with Alan Oppenheimer. Let's see. I think in the case of, let's see, first off, let's look up Alan Oppenheimer here. Yeah, he's born in 1930. So Alan Oppenheimer, he's born April 23rd, 1930. He's still alive, so he's like 94 years old. And Alan Oppenheimer, as I said, was the voice of Man at Arms and Battle Cat in the He-Man cartoons, but he also
so many characters.
Huh?
So many characters.
Yeah. Well, he also, let's see, he was also involved in Transformers, of course. He was like Breakdown. One of the guys who did the voice of Breakdown in Transformers, and then Melanie Britt, I think she was born in 43, so she's like 81, 82 right now, I believe. Gotta look her up here. They're still, I think, well, actually that's not true because I'm pretty sure Erica Shamer, Lou's daughter, is still alive as well. But of those original cast members, I think those three. I don't know about George DeCenzo. He was another one who was George DeCenzo was, of course, the voice of Bo in She-Ra and Scott and Seahawk, as well as I think he was also Brave Star as well, or Black Star, one of the two. But yeah, she was born October 30 on Halloween 1943, so she's 81. And let me see if I can find one more information. George DeCenzo. George DeCenzo passed away in 2010, so at the age of 70. So yeah, so I think Erica Shamer, Melanie Britt, and Alan Oppenheimer are the only ones still alive from that group. Linda Gary, of course, passed away back in '94. Lou Shamer passed away a few years ago, and George DeCenzo passed away a few years ago. So now we're down to three, and they're all, I think Erica is probably in her 60s, but the other two are in their 80s. So, interesting stuff, though, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're at an hour 24, so at least we're now getting into the hour and a half range. So I think it would be a good time to start winding down a bit here. Let me just, as it were, let me just take a quick peek here, and we'll. All right, so with that being said, today is, of course, Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. So let's take a look back at this weekend in each history. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back 100 years. Yeah, from yesterday. 100 years ago yesterday, as on yesterday's date 100 years ago, from at the time known as Disney Brothers Cartoon Studios, what would eventually become Walt Disney. Alice Gets Stung was an animated short by Walt Disney from the Alice Comedies series, done by distributed by Winkler Productions. This was the last last time that Virginia Davis performed Alice in these. So Alice Gets Stung from Walt Disney was released in theaters on yesterday's date 100 years ago. And of course, this was still the silent movie era.
Yeah.
So now,
Music.
what was that?
It was just set to music. That was
Yeah.
played by somebody in the studio.
Yeah.
Or in the theater, rather.
All right. So now moving ahead to 8 years ago. 8 years ago yesterday. Moving ahead to 8 years ago yesterday. On yesterday's date in 2017. The 55th issue of Classic Popeye from IDW went on sale on newsstands on 8 years ago yesterday. Sold for $4.99, was 32 pages. Now imagine that 32 pages for just under $5 for a comic. Quite a big hike compared to maybe what, like 10, maybe even 20 years prior to that.
Oh yeah, huge hike. $4.99 was. And the indies had to get their. The indies went up first because they didn't have the large print runs.
Yeah.
To get
But this particular series ran for 65 issues from what I read. But on yesterday's date, 8 years ago, Classic Popeye number 55 went on sale on that date. Oh, now it does 15 and all right. So 10 years ago today, back in 2015. WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. At that show, of course, the main event saw Daniel Bryan defeat Seth Rollins, and a winner will face Roman Reigns at Fastlane for the right to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30 or 31. That was the main event of the show. Other matches included Bray Wyatt defeating Dolph Ziggler, Ascension defeating Stardust and Goldust, aka Cody and Dustin Rhodes, and the show opened up with Big Show defeating Roman Reigns. So, there we go with that one. And also on this date, now moving ahead to 2020, on this date 5 years ago in 2020. On this date in 2020 here. So they Toei Animation's Healin' Good Pretty Cure premiered in Japan on this date back in 2020. So 5 years ago today, Toei Animation's Healin' Good Pretty Cure, a pretty popular anime franchise in Japan, premiered on this date in 2020, 5 years ago. And now, with all that being done and said, of course, before we head out, RJ, I'm going to give you one last opportunity here, and if you can stick around for a couple minutes after the show for post show, that'd be appreciated as well. Let's see. Before we head out, I want to give you an opportunity to do any further promotion of your site, share any links. I think you get the shtick, right?
Just head over to criticalblast.com and click the bookstore tab where you'll find access to our newest releases because, Mike, you always go back 100 years. You always go back 5 years. What we like to go back 97 years because that's when we hit the public domain stuff. And released just this past month, we have put out Thrilling Adventures of the Golden Age strips. Now, that's the title we use, but what you're really getting is a collected volume of Tarzan in the comics pages strips in one volume, and in the other one, you're getting the collected strips of Buck Rogers. So, the The strips are public domain. We've reformatted them, cleaned them up. There were errors in some of the strips that were done on the actual artwork, so they got populated throughout every publishing newspaper. We looked. They're like a piece of paper sometimes over the text, a little speck of paper that just blotted out an entire word. We fixed that. The word is there. This is probably the first time that these strips have been published with the actual complete dialogue in them. And they're like blown up to one panel per page. So you're getting the Tarzan stuff is just beautiful stuff. The Tarzan was done differently. Tarzan was like a big square of artwork with text underneath, but no word balloons. So we put that to one panel per page, made a nice thick coffee table size book for that. Same for the Buck Rogers, which was more of a strip kind of book. We also include the very original Buck Rogers text story, which was Armageddon 2049, thrown into there. So you'll get the first science fiction story featuring Buck Rogers that happened before the strips happened. All of those are available on the website, as well as Roy and Dan Thomas's Captain Thunder and Blue Bolt, and the first omnibus collection of Flair from Heroic Comics. Those are some of the newer things we've got out there.
All right. So with that being said, everybody, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, we'll be back here with more niche news tomorrow. And then next Sunday, I will have Metal joining me as we'll be continuing our look through books, the comics that went on sale in April of 1940. We'll be focusing in on, I believe it will be Standard next week. Standard, a.k.a. Nador, a.k.a. Better Books, a.k.a. whatever other names they decided to use.
Yes.
So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.